a librarian at Central High School in Keller, Texas. And I have two amazing librarians with me.
I am Lauren Stetler. I'm at Keller Middle School.
And I'm Carrie Harris from Hillwood Middle School. We're really excited to be back for episode 4. This is crazy. We've done four.
I've read a lot of books.
Yes, I keep reading a lot of books. Misty's frozen. Look at her. She's never been this quiet for this long. We can say
quiet or still.
Can't say anything back. It's amazing.
What could we do? Okay, we need to like take a picture and do all sorts of stuff to it.
We can just point at her.
Yes.
Yeah.
While she tries to get back on here, Audrey, you want to tell everybody how to pull up the chat?
I was just thinking the same thing, Lauren. Hi, folks. Good to see you guys. I see we have Suzanne Ross and Diana Colby and Kara Lewis already joining us in the chat. If you cannot see the chat, click on your profile in the upper right-hand corner, and then you're going to click Create Channel. Nothing bad is going to happen. Don't worry. Just click Create Channel, and then you'll magically be able to see the live chats. Kara is currently reading We Are Not From Here, just to let you ladies know.
Oh, I've read that one. That's an interesting one on immigration. It's quite interesting, but it's aliens.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
That's intriguing.
Diana is listening to Supernova because she can't.
Love. By the way, Diana, the end is going to blow your mind. That's all I'll say, but amazing.
Well, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen, and I think Misty is about to get back on here. I think my book is up first. We did talk about how we wanted to do some good murder mysteries and some more realistic fiction. And so I think we have quite a good selection for you in here. And since we just observed Memorial Day, we have some beautiful flags in the background. So kind of stay with the theme of the week. My first book is called Killing November. November is the girl in the middle. That's her name, November.
I've never even seen this. I don't know anything about this. I'm excited.
Okay, so Adriana Mather, she wrote a book called How to Hang a Witch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she wrote another one, a sequel to it, that's kind of a Titanic one. And I really like the way she writes. And I had no idea this was out there until I was reading School Library Journal, and it's like one of starred and had all these amazing things. But it's so interesting. I'm not done with it. I'm like probably 50 pages away from being done. But I put some hashtags up for all of the books. So in this one, it's kind of like, you either murder or you're going to get murdered. And there's some talk about the families. And it's a school for assassins and spies. So let me give you a little bit more on that. So she has been raised by her dad in this little sleepy town called Pembroke. And it's just like an idyllic town. Like she knows everybody knows her. Everybody's like, it's like this almost like too perfect. Something happens with her Aunt Jo. She's very close to her. Mother died a long time ago. She's very close to her aunt. And the dad says, I got to go check on Aunt Jo. She's had a break-in in her house. I need you to go over here so that you can be safe. So he puts her on this plane and he tells her she's going to go off to this school. Well, on the plane, she drinks like lemonade or something. And she just wakes up and it's 24 hours later and she's in this medieval castle kind of place. She was drugged on the plane. She has no idea where she is. She's brought into the headmaster's office and she's told, you are here. This is where you're safe. And you need to be, you're going to be here. Your dad's not coming. You can't leave until you have kind of gone through some of these classes. The classes are like knife throwing, the art of deception, all of these like spies and assassins. And as she starts talking to these kids, she realizes they all are talking about how they're a part of the family. The family has decided that this is it. Your family is this and my family is this. And it kind of, as you read it, it's almost like these mob families. But no, we're discovering it as she's discovering it. Like we're as much in the dark as she is. But there are people being murdered around her. Then she gets, my screen just went dark. What is happening?
We can still see you.
Oh, I can't see. I see. That's odd. Okay. I don't know. Internet. anyway, there's just murders happening around her. She's getting blamed for them, and she's having to work with people to figure it out. And then the whole time she's thinking to herself, I remember my dad, he taught me survival skills in the forest. And my dad taught me some really good things with knife throwing. So her dad has been training her all along, and she never knew it. And she's discovering there was probably a reason he was doing all of this. But really, really good.
We have a little ones joining us tonight.
Anyway,
that sounds super fun. Yeah.
Do what?
I said that sounds super fun.
It's on my TBR. Like, I've been wanting to read it. I just have such a huge pile. So it's there. I'm excited. I want to be an assassin.
I don't know. You have to be pretty sneaky, and you can't like have all these tells where you're doing something and people are like, nope, you just looked up and to the right, you bit your lip, and now I know you're lying. Like, it's crazy what they're doing on here, but it's really good. It's a really good mystery.
Well, I just read The Queen's Assassin, so I'm going to give Assassins a break for a bit. I see that Suzanne is also reading The Queen's Assassin. I hope you're enjoying it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
All right.
Let's
see who is up next. Is my screen sharing working? Because I'm still seeing nothing.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to pretend I see you. All right. You are up next, Lauren.
All right, cool. Okay, this one was so much fun. So realistic fiction is totally not my jam. But every now and then I find some gems, and this was definitely one of them. Okay, so this guy, he works at a zombie-themed escape room. That's his job. He's a senior in high school at this prep academy where all these rich kids go, and they're all Ivy League bound. But he is there on a scholarship, and so one of the rich guys comes up and tries to get him to agree to throw his grades on purpose so that more of them have better chances of getting into college along with them. And they're offering him some big time money. So while he's at work at this zombie-themed escape room, he meets this girl who just starts working there, and she also has some interest in needing money. She's trying to get away from her overbearing father. So she finds this competition. It is a zombie apocalypse competition where they have to try to be the last one standing in this big race to the finish. It's all these survivors.
You had me at zombies.
I know, but it's really, that's the thing though. Like, a lot of people went in thinking, oh, it's a zombie book. No, it really is realistic, sort of a romance kind of book, but the zombie stuff is really, it's humorous, it's fun zombie. And I'm telling you, this one reminded me a lot of North American Guide to golly, what is that title? It's too long.
Field Guide to the North American Teenager.
That one. It reminded me a lot of that one. It's in that same kind of feel. It does go back and forth between the guy's perspective and the girls, but it is laugh out loud funny. I was driving, listening to it. I'm just laughing. I'm like, I don't care if people are looking at me. I don't care. I'm having a ton of fun.
So how do they do a zombie escape room? Like, how do they do the zombie apocalypse in an escape room? Like walking around?
No, those aren't that's where they work, but this is like an outside competition that they're going to join. And they just happen to know all this survivalist zombie stuff because that's where they work, is something like that. So no, this is out there in Pacific Northwest. And so they held this competition outside. So picture like very Hunger Games-ish, but they're just outside and the zombies.
They're LARPing, live action role playing. Like,
yeah, okay.
I want to LARP as a zombie.
Very
I would make the best zombie in the world.
And of course, they get to know each other a bit better, and they start to question what they might be doing later instead of what they're planning now. But it was a lot of fun. It was hilarious. I really enjoyed the humor. That's what gets me. If you're going to do realistic, make me laugh. Don't make me cry. Don't make me laugh.
Yeah.
This one definitely make you laugh. Oh, seriously rough language though. I would go high school only on this one. It's super fun.
Seriously rough language.
Yeah.
That's interesting. They've said it was like 8th grade and up on the review.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. So that's why I wanted to make sure to say no. I mean, if you have your more mature ones too, that's fine. Or if you don't care, that's fine. But I mean, not like a classroom setting.
Yeah.
Nothing else is higher up on that, but just the language.
All right. Good to know.
All right, my lovelies. Audrey, you might have to jump in. I'm on 2 different internets. I'm not even joking with you, and I'm still be getting spotty. So if I freeze, jump in. I know Audrey's read this one too. So American.
I'm listening to it right now, and I'm so excited you're talking about it.
I love it. So imagine that whenever the Revolutionary War ended, they gave George Washington the option to become a president or to become the next king. So of course he's like, yay, democracy, and he became the president. But what if he decided to become the king? And so instead of us having presidents, forevermore, we had a patriarchy. So we had kings and queens running America. So fast forward to present day, and you have pretty much the royal family and the royal children. So they're grooming the head daughter. She will be the first female to rule America. So she's like Queen Elizabeth or whatever. Her name's Beatrice. And so they're grooming her to be the first female queen of America. There hasn't been one before. It's all been men. So, it's present day, it's time. She's the oldest, so she's getting groomed for that. And then she has 2 siblings, twins, right underneath her, a girl, Sam, and her brother, Jefferson. And so you kind of follow their drama. Like Beatrice is so perfect, needs to be perfect. She's supposed to be perfect. She's supposed to marry this guy. But wait, Sam likes the guy. She's mad at Beatrice. Jefferson likes Sam's friend. It's just this tangled web of drama, but I really liked it. And it's kind of funny because I'm with you, Miss Sutler, Lauren. I'm not a huge realistic fan. Like, I'm one of those people, like, I don't like real people problems. Like, why would I read about real people problems?
Yes.
But this one was really good-hearted, and it was fun. And oh my gosh, it was a lot along the lines of like, you've got a lot of that, like, Pretty Little Liars, upper echelon of people, rich people problems. And I just loved it. I was just like, oh, she didn't, but then she did. I don't know. So I really enjoyed it. And of course, any kind of like retelling or alternate type history kind of stuff. So even though it is it's realistic because there's nothing fantasy about it. And that's why it's in realistic fiction. Even though it's an alternate type history, it's still present day. The only thing different is that we have a king and a queen. So definitely worth picking up. I like the characters. They each have their own little personalities. Sam is really strong. And then her best friend tells a lot of the story too. So it's a really good book. And honestly, this one, I think there's one tiny little scene, but it's not very descriptive. So middle school would work for this book as well. And yeah, there's a sequel coming out, or it's out, and I really can't wait to read it. Although I'm trying not to read sequels right now, and I'm failing. Miss Stetler, the minute you told me about Aurora burning, like I read it, like it is so awful. And now guess what? I'm in like book craze because guess what I want now? I need book 3, but it's going to be like a year. And so I'm going to be like completely crazy.
On that one, I'm like, I can't wait on this. But hey, I have to tell you, so on American Royals, I'm a huge American Revolution buff. I just love that part of history. I used to teach American history, and so that was my favorite thing to teach. So in this book, they're constantly referencing parts that happened like during the Revolution and after, that we know what really happened with these names and stuff, but it's of course referenced differently because you have like the Duke of Texas and you have it's really kind of cool to watch. And also, since I'm listening to it, I just want to put a shout out there to the audio. Great voice acting, a different voice for each person that comes in. And so it's also really good. I liked it. Good choice, Miss Shay. Let's see, what do we have up next? Next we have, I can go faster. Oh, we have mine. Okay. So who doesn't like Gene Luen Yang? I mean, the guy is amazing. American-born Chinese. He's got his
oh yeah.
He's so good. And I am not a graphic novel person. I always tell my kids I'm a word nerd. I grew up with words. And so when I'm presented with a graphic novel, I have a difficult time reading it because I want words. I don't want to read a picture. But with his books, I don't feel that way as much. So I love his books. The kids love his books, so on and so forth. This one is actually, as you can see, a nonfiction book. It is, and that's why one of the hashtags is Gene freaking Yang, because I mean, like, the guy can do no wrong in my eyes. It's a bit autobiographical. And it does, another hashtag is basketball made me cry. I'm just going to say it. In this book is a combination of, it's like he was a high school algebra teacher for like 17 years. As he wrote American Born Chinese, Boxers and Saints had come out right when he was telling this story. And he's like, I don't have another story to tell. I don't know what to do. In the meantime, he's trying to balance family, comics, and teaching. And he decides, he hears all these kids in his high school talking about how they're really excited about this new basketball season coming up. So he goes and interviews the coach. And he knows the coach, he teaches with him, but the coach is like in with the athletic people. And of course, Jean Yang is with as he proclaims it, he sits at the nerd table in the teacher's lounge. And so he goes and talks to the coach, and he starts to hear all about the history of the championship seasons that they've lost all this time. So the book does a really good job of going back in time and talking about the basketball seasons at this school. We get to know Coach Lou Ritchie, who is African American, and so we get a little bit of his background and how he grew up with a lot of problems with his race and being able to be created or to be seen as an equal. We get a little bit of basketball history. We hear about how basketball was invented, how women's basketball got started. We flash back to the present with members of the high school team itself. One of them is Chinese. And so we get a flashback to Chinese basketball history and how it all blends in so beautifully into this championship season, and some really good action scenes of the championship games being played. And you just get so invested because you're getting to know the players. And at the very end, he goes back and forth with this one coach that was there that is miraculously like, he just was asked to resign and nobody knew why. And there was this huge controversy. In the book, he's like questioning himself. Do I mention Coach Phelps? Maybe I don't. Maybe I should. But yes, he is the story. I need to mention him. And it all comes together at the end. And I did. I legit shed a tear. And it's a basketball book and it's a graphic novel. So I'm just saying, he did it. He just did that. And he's so good at what he does. It's amazing. Nonfiction. Learned so much. I'm not even a basketball fan. I'm a football fan. And I loved this book.
No, it sounds really good. I definitely going to make sure that it is like front and center on the shelves next year, because I'm always sports books. Like people come in and like, Michelle, I need a sports book. And I'm like, there are other types of books. No. So that's definitely going to be on my prized shelf.
Yeah.
And to throw in the nonfiction. Good job.
I know.
I try. I get, me, I'm a realistic person. I like the realistic fiction that y'all don't like. So see, we're made for each other in this program.
I know. We're like the Three Musketeers.
Love to you all. All right, let's see. What else do we have on here to share as I quickly get back into share screen? Sorry, I'm trying to do this right tonight. Ooh, I think one of my favorite ones is coming up. I love this book so much. I'm so happy about it.
I did not know what to expect out of this book, believe it or not. This is the first one I've read by Allie Carter. So I know I have them all in my library, but I just hadn't read them yet.
That was me too. I nenever read any of her books until this one.
I'm judging you all.
I have two young kids at home. I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. Time is scarce to read, but this was one that I definitely devoured in a day. I loved it. This is more of a mystery with just a tiny bit of romance thrown in there, but really it's a good thriller, kind of survivalist. So the president's son, the first son, he is best friends with the head of Secret Service's daughter, and they're best friends. And it starts when they're like 10 years old, and they're playing around in the White House, and then something really big happens, something that caused a lot of trauma in their lives. And her dad ends up quitting the Secret Service to kind of protect them. And so he takes her, and they move to the sticks, the wilderness out in Alaska. And so she grows up being getting really into survivalist skills. You have to, and they don't have electricity or running water. I mean, not really.
Is it like the people who like think the government's out to get them, so they have nothing that will connect them, or is it just they're out? I can't remember.
No, he's just going because that was something traumatic and that she was put in danger. He's also her only parent left. Her mom died when she was young. And so he's just kind of one of those, what if something bad would have happened and I wouldn't be there for her? So that was his kind of takeaway from that. So fast forward to, they're now 16, 17, I think it was 6 years later. The first son has become kind of delinquent. He likes to go to parties and post pictures and get away from his security detail, just being kind of a nuisance. And so his parents send him then to Alaska. So in between some of the chapters, there are letters written from the girl, and Maddie is her name. And she had written these letters back and forth to him. I am blanking on his name for Logan, Maddie and Logan. So Maddie's writing Logan letters from when they moved to Alaska from the time she was 10, and he never writes back. And so she can't figure out if he's getting her letters or if he's choosing not to write back. So that's also kind of a back and forth thing. So she is super mad at him, wants nothing to do with him. And then here he comes, 6 years later, he's being plopped into their place in Alaska, and she's super mad about it. She's like, oh, don't talk to me. I want nothing to do with you. But also he's super hot. So there's that.
That's my favorite thing about she goes back and forth. Leave me alone. I hate you, but gosh, you're cute.
Right. In her head. Never telling him that, but in her head. But then in the first 24 hours that he's in Alaska, this Russian guy who has ties back to what happened 6 years ago kidnaps him, and she decides to follow because she's his only hope at this point of finding him alive. And so it is Russian kidnappers having to do with government conspiracy plots and stuff, and roughing it out and true survival in the in Alaska in winter. It's turning into winter, so it's super cold. And I think she did a really great job at getting these survivalist pieces correct. It sounded very accurate and well done, and that was impressive. So she's just really this kick butt girl who's saving the guy. That's really fun too. So
I think that's what I liked about it, because I don't like all the girly ones, which is probably why I didn't read her other ones. But now that I've read this one, I want to go back and read some of her other ones. But I'm just not big on the girly stuff, and this had so much of the adventure and survivalists and assassins, and that made it even better. Yes. Plus, she was real snarky and funny. I liked her style.
She's very confident and sure of herself. She's talking to this Russian kidnapper guy, and she's like, oh my gosh, I might break a nail. And she's thinking in her head, and I can kill you with it in 10 different ways, which I love.
What's your favorite Ally Carter book, Misty?
Oh, and by the way, Celeste, if you're watching, I don't know if you're on here, this one definitely you would like. Pick this one up.
I don't know. She has so many. And after I read books and I read so many like them, I can't remember. But I do remember, I like most of her books. I think there was just one book that I was like, I kind of saw the ending coming. But other than that, I really enjoy her writing style. And I feel like she doesn't get super girly. Even though a lot of her books have female main characters, she doesn't get super oh, my hair, my neck. Even though she's going to murder him with her fingernail. But anyway.
Well, she's also very funny to watch in person. If you've ever seen her interviewed on the panel, on the author panel at any book festivals, she's hilarious. She's hilarious. And so every time she talks, I can hear her characters in my head as well. So if you ever have a chance to see her doing that, definitely do that. Let's see. What's next? I always forget where we are. I think we're almost. Oh, there we go.
The last one. Oh my goodness. Okay. So let me tell you my drama trauma with this book. So I started reading it right after dinner. Cause at my house, we have a little bit of quiet time right after dinner. I just cooked and slaved away and I'm exhausted. So I picked up this book. I couldn't sleep. I had to finish it. It is like a psychological thriller. And you don't know if so there's two twins. And
that's usually how it works.
The book cover is traumatic. So there's these two twins, and when they were little, their parents got divorced, and one twin went to live with mom, and one twin stayed with dad. And so they really don't have a lot to do with each other. They see each other occasionally, cross paths, and because holidays they switch. And so they really don't get a lot of time with each other, just a little bit. And the one twin, they're just very to themselves. They have their own personality. So they don't really bond like normal twins should, you know. Supposedly twins can read each other's minds and know each other's thoughts and, you know, complete sentences. But they really have never felt like that. Because, I mean, and they're identical twins. So all of a sudden, like first chapter, you find out mom died. And so that twin has to come live with dad and the twin that's been living with dad. Just, you know, normal life. She's a top student, like very good grades, like a top swimmer on the swim team. She has a good group of friends. Like she loves her life. She can't complain. She loves her dad. She loved her mom. But the way her mom died, she never quite thought that that's how she died. So of course, what happens when you don't think someone was killed, like they didn't die that way, she wouldn't kill herself, she wouldn't just fall off a bridge while running, you start investigating it. It doesn't help that your twin sister starts slowly borrowing your clothes, talking to your friends, like making you seem crazy. And so slowly throughout the book, you're not sure if the narrator is really making this stuff up, if she's being over dramatic and oversensitive because her mom did just die, or if her twin is really out to get her. And I'm not going to tell you because the ending, I was so upset with the ending. I tweeted to the author. I was like, I can't. Like, oh my gosh. It's one of those, I'm trying to think of a movie. There was a movie. This has nothing to do with Ghost, but you know, you remember the end of, what was the movie where the kid sees dead people? Yes. Like I never saw that coming. So the ending of this book, because it's so psychological. You're always like, is she crazy? Is her sister really doing this? Is she just being sensitive because she is seeing the counselor? Like, I mean, is she just being a dramatic teen or is the twin really trying to kill her? Like it is crazy. So anyway, I love it. And guess what? I have a copy here for someone in the chat. So if you have not been chatting, make sure that you shout out because you might be chosen. And it's a quick read. Like I said, I started it at dinner time and I finished it before I went to sleep. But it is so good. It is appropriate. There's nothing... I don't even think there are any curse words. So it's really appropriate for middle school, even though it's very psychological and very thriller. And oh my gosh, the ending like killed me. But so whoever, any people that are in the chat, anybody who's talking, let me know if this is something you would like to read and we will do something to where you might be able to win it. But it is so good. I loved it.
Okay, sorry, I was chatting. Let me go back. I think we have one more book, and I believe it is you, Miss Sutler, as soon as I can get the share to work properly.
No, I think that was it.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was having fun. I wanted to do more.
I know.
All right. So Miss Youngblood is out there in the chat, and she went through and took the names of everybody who was chatting and did a randomizer and picked Brent from Keller High School. He will be getting the book, The Twin. So what we need to do is one of us will send an email to Brent, your school email, so that we can get your address and we can mail it to you because, you know, socially distance and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so congratulations, Brent. You got our first book.
Yay! Ooh, I like your name, Berteau. Is it French? It has to be French. It ends in EAU. AUX. Oh my gosh, I can't read. But seriously, I am having, Lauren, like, Aurora burning. Like, I can't. Why did it end that way? I'm not giving anybody any, like, I'm not ruining it, but.
No, but it's the biggest cliffhanger I think I've ever been a part of.
It is. I'm thinking like this big masterpiece orchestra and you're hearing this beautiful thing and it gets really hyped up and it gets very to the end and you're waiting and then there's no last note.
Yeah.
Okay. I am boycotting anything.
Good. That was really good.
I'm only reading standalones. Like I'm done. I also started Beautiful and I need the second book just came out and I'm scared to read it because if I read it, then the third book and then I just can't. So I am boycotting trilogies, duologies, fiveologies, whatever you call them. I'm done. I'm reading standalones. That's
No,
it. All
I
summer.
don't care. I'm doing it. I'm going to continue reading my series because I love them so much. And you know what? I kind of like that anticipation. It's
don't.
annoying, but I like it. I haven't felt like this since Harry Potter when you're waiting for like the 5th book or the 6th book.
I know. I think we got spoiled with things like, when these authors that are just like reeling them out over and over really fast, and then we can read them immediately. Because I read the Harry Potter series as they came out, and I don't remember being this angry that I had to wait.
I know. It's just like that all over again. And even though it's super frustrating, I've missed it.
I think I'm getting cranky in my old age. I don't know. I don't want to wait.
Well, all you have to do is just be like me, the old lady of the group, and I read the first in a series, and I'm like, that was really good. I'm moving on now. Someone else can tell me how it ended.
Nope.
No.
Nope. And especially
I don't have time for all those, but I need to read more characters and read more books. I already know that character. I need more.
No, you don't though. That you don't. They develop over time. Okay, Renegades is such a good example for that. Diana, I know you're reading this in Supernova, so I can't say anything. I won't spoil anything, but there is so much then that comes out in each book, but especially the last one. And it happens like in the prologue. So you're like, but that's the last book. Where's the next one? And there's no more book.
Oh.
So good though. If I was to say, if there's a series you have to finish, it would be Renegades.
Okay. I do finish some series. Like I did read the second Aurora book.
Yes.
And I've read the
that one.
Delirium series, and I've read several that I like, oh, I gotta know. But yeah. Oh, did you see that?
I did. Woo! Hey, I'm not kidding. So the book Beautiful I just read, it was set in New Orleans and they speak French half the book. So I'm kind of sad that I took Spanish in high school. I'm kind of really wanting to learn French. So that adds to, I want to learn Mandarin, I want to learn Korean, and now I need to learn French. So maybe now that we're quarantined or still quarantined, I might learn a new language.
For those of you who don't know, we just found out that Bryn's last name is French Louisiana, and so that's why we're commenting on Louisiana, the winner of the book giveaway. So yeah, that's fun.
Very fun.
All right.
Our theme for next time, I don't know. We're gonna have to tweet that out. So if you're listening, you're gonna have to watch for our tweets for our next theme. I have to think on that. If there's anything that you would like to see, like we took our theme this week from your what you wanted to know last week. So if there's anything that you would like to see more of, let us know now here in the chat so we can be thinking about that and get prepared for next week. Otherwise, you are at our mercy and we get to pick what we want to pick.
And I have been a good girl. I've been reading across genres because if not, I've got about 4 fantasy books that I would love to just sink my teeth into. But I have been reading across genres like a good girl. So I have a lot coming up. But still.
There's fantasy out right now. A ton.
There is. But I mean, that's just it sells so well.
Yeah.
It does. It makes good movies too. So everybody's still trying for that.
Historical fiction. Okay.
Ooh, I have a good one.
I did
always have a good one.
You what?
I said she always has a good one that she's thinking of. Yeah, I will probably. I grabbed a big pile of books on the last day that I was allowed in the building at school, so I have quite a bit of a variety. I don't think I have any more historical fiction though.
Well, 3 more yeses on it, so definitely we're gonna have to go historical. So.
Okay, each of us has to pick a historical fiction book, ladies. At least one for each of us.
I've got 2.
Got one in mind.
Miss Harris, I'll drop some off in your mailbox.
You can't. It's one of those locked ones. You have to come inside my house.
Do you? Oh, I heard this. No, I can't say it. There are students. I had a really funny coronavirus joke. Anyway, so I'll set it on your porch like brownies, but you don't want to eat my brownies. I don't cook well. But yeah, okay. So historical fiction. The next episode 5 of the next great read is going to be historical. No, it's going to be historically amazing. No, okay, just check it.
I was right in the middle of it, and it totally killed your joke.
Yeah. You said it's going to be historical.
It is. It's going to be historically wonderful. I don't even know. I'm done.
All right. right, ladies, this was fun. I'm excited for the next one. I got to get back to reading again. I got to finish Killing November, and then I got to find a historical fiction. So,
Ooh, Fountains of Silence is good. Ooh, I need to stop saying book names. Anyway, until next time.
Okay.
All right, guys. Bye. It was fun. See you next week.
For more book giveaways.
Yes.